Yeah, when
And
boy,
that is how you make $1 million.
yes. Yeah.
I just I got it all through just
Yep.
turning in bottles.
Yes.
I only turned in about $1,000 worth of bottles, and then for some reason oh,
Well,
but you
thank
missed
you.
all
Oh, I'm sorry.
that.
He just gave us the secret how to make $1 million, and
I'm not going to tell you again.
no, we're not going to tell you. I'm sorry, you missed it. So that's just too bad.
Let's just talk about X-Men
That's
now.
right.
We're superheroes
Yeah.
now. Uh, so I guess when you were growing up, you read the comic books or go to the movies, or what you like?
This is the weirdest way how I got into the superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a high schooler,
Mm-hmm.
I started looking at the X-Men TV series,
Oh, okay.
the the '90s version,
Mm-hmm.
and then went into the military. Started still looking at it, and then all of a sudden the video games came out, and
Yeah.
that's when I really
Oh, the
got
video game.
entrenched.
Okay.
Yes, went to the arcade, played the X-Men versus Street Fighters,
Yeah.
X-Men, and Marvel versus
Yeah.
superheroes, Marvel versus Capcom, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when I really started to study my superheroes.
Yeah.
And it's a weird way of studying it, but I had a lot of people who taught me this superhero does this villain does this superhero does that, this villain does that. It's like, oh, okay, cool. It's like, that's awesome.
I only I gotta tell you something. I used to read comics a lot when I was a kid, but they were all like Archie comics. I didn't
Veronica.
really like the superhero ones. However,
Uh-huh.
when they were on TV, like the Superman TV show with George Reeves,
Yes.
or or of course the Adam West Batman show,
Oh,
those were
Adam West
just so.
Batman.
I mean,
Yes.
I got so into that and I was actually kind of made fun of as a little kid because
Why?
I'll tell you why. Not from other little kids, but from adults saying, "Oh, you're watching Batman again. Maybe you should read Shakespeare." That type of nonsense.
Oh.
I'm just 5, 6 years old. So anyway, then like 30 years later or something,
Yeah.
the Batman movies become popular, the Superman movies
Hmm.
become popular,
Yep.
and everyone likes them. And I said, "You see, I was ahead of my time."
Yeah.
Actually, all my friends were ahead of theirs. We were watching them on television.
That's right. Now,
Yeah.
what is really awesome is that Marvel made billions of dollars
Yeah.
off their movies. And the one thing that really hit it pretty big was the Avengers
Yeah.
pyramid. So you had all
Yeah.
these movies like Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and some of these other
Yeah.
movies. And then they created a pyramid to go all the way up to the Avengers movie.
Yes.
Then you see the Avengers movie, all the superheroes come together,
Yeah.
they fight all these villains, and then it climax with the last one against Thanos.
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
I don't know
Thanos
where
is,
they can go from there.
yeah, it's like
The greatest movie ever made.
it's greatest movie ever.
I mean, if you're that into that, I mean, it's like Gone with the Wind or
Yes,
Citizen
it
Kane
is.
to
Yes,
people
it
who don't
is.
like Gone with the Wind or Citizen Kane. But anyway, what's weird about the superhero movies is that you're right. It all built up to the Avengers, and
Mhm.
actually they're actually rather loyal to the comics. They're actually
Yes.
comics from the 1960s that actually have that story in it, and
Hmm.
if you know the comics, you know the end of it. Now,
Yes.
they then I think there are two rivals. There was the Marvel and DC,
In
and
DC, yeah.
DC had sort of a similar thing called the Justice League. And then when they
Yes.
made their movie, it didn't turn out so hot.
No, because it sucked.
Well, I mean, there's no reason why it did suck. It just, I mean, why it should, I mean, should be just as good, but they just didn't put the care into it.
Yeah,
I
like
think,
Marvel.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, what happened
I
was,
tell you what the problem with
yeah,
Justice League
yeah,
is that, well, first off, they were trying to give everyone equal time, but
uh-huh.
Aquaman is just not as exciting as Superman.
Oh,
In fact, they would in the comic books, and I'm sure in the movie too. They would tell them now, Aquaman, you talk to the fishes,
yes,
and Batman, you climb the wall, and
yep,
Superman, Superman could do pretty much everything the
of
others could
course.
do. In fact, together, if they all ganged up on
Oh,
Superman, he would
Superman.
still.
Exactly. That is exactly right,
In
Kevin.
the Marvel comics, there's no Superman character,
No.
pretty much. So they're all have their Achilles heels and their
Yes.
problems.
Yes. They're
Superman has
not
no problem.
no problem. See, the Marvel characters are more human, basically.
Yeah.
Even though Marvel did create a Superman type character,
Who's
but
that?
he was an evil guy. It was Hypero.
Yeah.
Yes, he was like an evil Superman character. But
Oh, I
he's
gotta see that.
yeah, but he's not as good as Superman. But he's strong. He's
Mm.
fast. He's witty.
Yeah.
But he don't get killed by kryptonite.
Oh
That's the only
wow.
thing.
And who fought him?
Usually
All
a
of,
lot of the
oh, the
Avengers.
others. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, the superheroes aren't a whole lot different from the monsters. I
Hmm.
mean, you had the Frankenstein monster, Dracula monster,
Yep.
Wolfman,
Hmm.
and then eventually it became Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, or Dracula
Yeah.
versus the Wolfman, or something. So they got them together,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then eventually they got them all together
Yep.
against like Abbott and Costello. so so and it's no. I have a feeling soon it's going to be Abbott and Costello versus the versus the Avengers. They could have actors play Nathan Lane and
Yes. Or Three Stooges
oh,
versus the Avengers.
that would be good.
That would be awesome.
They made a Three Stooges movie
Yeah.
a few years ago with
Yes.
yeah, that was by the
That was
Burley
that was
brothers.
awesome.
That was really good.
That is
Yeah.
interesting. With the Marvel and the monster movies, when Kevin's talking about all these monster movies coming together, it kind of reminds me of that game show. Woo! You remember that game show?
Who? No.
No.
So tell me
Okay.
about it.
Okay. It
Tell
is.
our illustrious audience
Yes.
what that's all about.
This game show was basically a chase and grab game show.
Yeah.
Tom Kennedy was the
Okay.
host, and the idea was to go up a board all the way up to the top,
Yeah.
and your opponent is trying to block you from answering questions.
Oh, okay.
You're trying to race up to the top and get to the top and get as much money as you can, but your opponent is trying to block you from getting up to the
Oh, it's
top.
all questions, trivia
Yeah,
questions.
all trivia
I think that
questions and
show's back
answers.
on. It's
Is
called The
it?
Chase.
Oh, the chase! I love the
What is
chase.
it? How
I
different
love
is it from The Chase?
well, the thing is, at the end,
Yeah.
you if you win, you go and face the gauntlet of villains,
Yeah.
which is all your movie monsters like
Oh,
Frankenstein,
you have to
the
beat
witch.
them up.
No, no.
You get a pitchfork or a torch.
well,
Fire!
fire! Oh! Well, what it is during the bonus round they have these 10 guys lined up, and each one of them has a stump question,
Okay.
and you got to answer the right part of the question that is stumped.
Oh wow.
And if you make it through all 10 of them, you win
All
$25,000.
right. Now, when was this? What years was this
This was
show?
between 1979 and 1980.
Okay.
So this was during my childhood, your
Yeah.
childhood,
Mhm.
and everybody's
Yeah.
childhood.
I must have been watching Archie comics.
But what was cool is Tom Kennedy, he made that game show.
Yeah. Oh,
And
he was good.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was awesome and I loved it. But going through the gauntlet villains, you got Frankenstein, the witch, the Wolfman, Nero.
It's a show for kids.
The kids loved it because it was
It had
those
the monsters
characters.
on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had the monsters on
Now,
it.
I know what I remember was I remember when I was a kid, I would watch Jeopardy with Art Fleming,
Uh-huh.
and I'd look at it was always on at noontime on NBC, and then
Uh-huh.
they would have the categories,
Uh-huh.
and if one of them wasn't sports, I'd change the channel one or two because sports was all I knew. Sports. Now sports I have a hard time with because
Yeah.
I can't. There's so much
There's so much
to
sports.
the all the. I mean, we're
Yes.
talking 40 some years of
Oh,
more statistics to remember.
well, I tell you, speaking of the chase,
Yeah.
the chase is an old English game show,
Yeah. Oh, I
and
didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, it all originated from England, and you have these chasers trying to beat the chaser,
The Oxford
chasees,
professor or something.
yeah, and it's an awesome game show. They
Yeah.
have 5 chasers in England.
Yeah.
Here in America, we only have one, Mark Lebet, who
Yeah.
is the big guy.
Well, actually, in the chase now they have Ken Jennings
Ken Jennings,
and the three guys,
yeah,
Brad
James
Rutter and
Hauser,
James Hauser. Yeah,
yeah.
the
So
three, and they're pretty formidable.
yeah,
I'd
yeah.
hate I'd hate to have to. I mean, I like being would love to be on a game show like that, but
Hmm.
at the same time, that's who I have to play
Yes.
against. I'm gonna lose.
I know. And the same thing happened with the international chase. They
Yeah.
had like five versions: England, America, Australia, Ireland, and there was one more. I think New Zealand. I'm probably all wrong on three of them, but
I was in a. Go ahead. Keep going.
oh, I was going to say the chasers. They always had fun trying to beat up on the contestants.
Oh yeah,
And if you ever watch YouTube, watch the chase, the England
I gotta see
style.
it.
Yeah, there was this awesome girl. Her name was Vixen.
Okay.
She had hot red hair.
I know that
Love her.
that America, still has Who Wants to Be a Millionaire show,
Hmm.
and that show, every once in a while someone will win $1 million. But I think up until recently, nobody won $1 million or £1 million on the English because it was just
Hmm.
so much money,
Yeah.
and they really made it hard. I mean, it's still a hard show, but I made it so hard that people got frustrated. Is anyone going to win on this show? It's and of course the movie Slumdog Millionaire is the Indian
Yes.
version. Takes place in
Yes.
India, and as soon as that kid knew all the answers,
Hmm.
they didn't. We talked about it happened on The Price is Right here. They didn't think the kid. Oh, great, the kid won all the money. No, the kid must be cheating.
Yeah.
You can't. We make it so they don't win.
I love the cheating stuff, especially that guy in the Price is Right, who
Yeah.
got the exact bid and everything.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
he
like
studied and
studied,
memorized
memorized. Yes.
all the same prizes showed up over and over
Yes,
again.
and that what a smart thing to
Yeah,
do. I mean, and Drew Carey looks stunned. It's like, 25,470.
that's
Yeah, you got an exact bid. And Drew Carey's like his mouth open, like the stupid idiot that he is.
well, it's
But
the counting. It's the equivalent of counting cards in the casino, and,
yep.
which 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 is I don't know if it's against the law, but if they catch you at it,
Oh
it's
yeah.
against they're going to stop you.
Oh yes.
And
Yes.
get the in the casino had the cattle prod on the guy.
And, I always say that guy on The Price is Right. He was just awesome.
Yeah,
Plus that guy on Press Your Luck who memorized the board
yeah.
pattern and
Oh yeah,
won all that money. And it's like, stupids, maybe you should change up your
yeah,
philosophies a
yeah.
little bit and don't let contestants memorize the light patterns on the
Yeah,
board.
yeah. I would think some guy, some like some savant,
Yeah.
like the Rain Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
They said I was in it. I was told when I was a kid because I was actually pretty smart. I was an idiot savant.
Idiot savant.
I'm no longer a savant. I'm half an idiot savant.
But this goes to show game shows like Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, you can't cheat on them shows
Yeah,
because nobody knows what's going to happen on them shows until you actually do it.
yeah,
So, but the chase is awesome. If you
yeah.
ever look at it, watch it. It's
Oh
a
yeah,
great show.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Speaking of category of sports, the NHL season has started, and
All right.
it's a 56 game stretch to finish. They
Yeah.
changed all these divisions now. One
Mhm.
division is all Canadian teams, which is
That's good.
really weird. But they're not letting a lot of teams travel because of the COVID
So
and
so
everything.
it guarantees that one Canadian team will be there. Actually, it's good.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
mean, the
yeah.
Olympics is that way too.
Yeah,
The home, the home base of the Olympics,
yeah.
and then the Americans spend so much on advertising and marketing that the Americans got a leg up on a lot of that stuff. But the Olympics, no one complains. Sometimes they complain, but the Miss
Mhm.
America pageant. I'm not no the Miss Universe pageant.
Uh-huh.
You ever notice that of the five finalists, there's always an American? And it's not because
Yeah.
the American is the most beautiful woman, but one of the top five. It's because they kind of like let her.
Mhm.
They don't. She doesn't typically win, but
Right.
they do keep it interesting for the American viewers
Yes, they
to get
gotta have that American
get a woman
viewership.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's really funny? The NHL has now decided to name their divisions.
Mm.
They have given corporate sponsorship to
Ooh.
divisions. So it's the Mass Mutual Eastern Division,
Oh yeah.
Scotiabank Northern Division, and I forgot the other two names. I
Yeah.
thought this was one of the stupidest things
Oh.
I've ever seen. What's going to be next? We're going to have the NFL name their divisions like the Dominion NFL East NFC East or the Wells Fargo AFC West. I don't
Well,
know.
they named like ballparks after corporate
Well, yeah,
things.
that's fine.
There was Jack Kent Cooke Stadium,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then when he died, to make sure they did it after he died, they renamed it FedEx Field.
Yes.
FedEx
Yep.
paid enough money to get Jack Kent Cooke's name off of there.
Yep.
The
Yep.
I think the Astros, after they left the Astrodome, played at Enron Park.
Enron.
And then Enron had their problems and couldn't keep
Yes.
the name on the,
Nope.
or no one wanted to go there. The crazy thing is like in Northern Virginia, there's a place where one of the amphitheaters, and
Hmm.
I don't know what it used to be called, the Northern Virginia Amphitheater. I don't know what it was called,
Hmm.
but now it's called the Jiffy Lube Amphitheater. So when people say,
What?
"Are you going to go to Jiffy Lube later?" And I was actually in Northern Virginia hearing people talk about Jiffy Lube. I said, "They really like Jiffy Lube around here." Everyone's like cars leaking oil or something. And they said, "No, we're going to see the Grateful Dead, or we're going to go see Duran Duran." I mean, I really did not know what they were talking about. I
Right,
thought they were talking
right.
about Jimmy. Um, and then they used to name tournaments, golf tournaments, and tennis tournaments after corporate
Hmm.
sponsors. And I
Yes.
remember once,
Yep.
I think it was a tennis tournament. It was I'm not kidding.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking about the Rolaids Open. Rolaids.
I think I might remember
Yeah,
that one.
Rolaids.
You remember when baseball and This Week in Baseball was sponsored by Rolaids?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. They're a good contributor. Yeah. Well, actually, you
Oh
need
my
Rolaids if you
goodness.
go through a rough, game
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
the
yeah,
playoffs or
yeah.
something.
Especially a catcher.
Oh yeah,
Now, I was thinking going back to the superhero movies.
yeah,
Um, Wonder Woman is out now,
yes.
and Gail Gadot,
Is she great? Yeah,
yeah, she is great. I
yeah,
like her as Wonder Woman,
yeah.
and Linda Carter made an appearance, uh, but I won't tell you when. But then again, I haven't seen the movie either at
Um,
this present time.
I've seen the movie.
But I will never forget Linda Carter
Well,
as
I'll tell you something about Linda Carter,
hmm
and um, and this is unlike all the other superheroes,
hmm
the movie versions compared to TV versions. They had no problem, making a new Batman movie, new Superman movie. They took a long time and waited for the right person to play the new Wonder Woman. They said, "Oh,
hmm
Sandra Bullock will play her, Melanie Griffith, or whoever was
Oh,
popular at the
come
time."
on.
I mean, Rosie O'Donnell will play Wonder Woman. Who cares? They couldn't find the perfect woman to play Wonder Woman. I mean, she has to be a wonderful woman. So when they found her, they ran with it, and she was great.
Uh-huh.
She's still great, Gal Gadot. Now,
Yes.
what happened was Gal Gadot, I think.
Yeah, good eye.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, but in the case of Wonder Woman, I
Hmm.
mean, that was such a hard act to follow. Linda Carter. Linda Carter.
Yes.
I mean, in fact, when you think of Linda Carter, you don't, you might think of a lot of these people doing other stuff, but Linda Carter is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is
Yes.
Linda Carter,
That's right.
and thus it really took 40 years to, for her to be a memory, so you could
Yeah.
introduce a new one. Also, there was controversy. They said that
Ooh.
boys wouldn't go to a superhero movie if it was
Oh.
about a woman. They'd only see other men, other males.
What?
But then they figured out, well, a lot of these men are dragging their girlfriends to see Superman and Batman and
Uh-huh.
Spider Man. And they seem to enjoy it. So
Uh-huh.
there's a let's do something for the women, and
Yeah.
they jump started finally getting a couple of Wonder Woman. One they've actually made Wonder Woman's actually made quite a few appearances. She's in Justice League, the first Batman
Yes.
vs Superman, her own
Hmm.
movie, and then
Yep.
this new
Yep.
movie.
Yep.
So
Yep.
so and it's all within like 3 years. So
Yeah, and
mm,
Wonder Woman is very popular. So, and
mm.
Gail Gadot, I'd never heard of her until she played Wonder Woman.
Yeah, you never. I mean, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
an unknown. Yeah,
And a very unknown,
yeah.
and cheers to her. But the Justice League cartoon back when we were kids, that was better than the Justice League movie. And you remember the Hall of Doom and everything. It was the greatest thing. I was hoping that DC Comics, instead of making fun of Marvel when
Yeah.
DC Comics was a little bit on top and Marvel was
Yeah.
struggling, and then Marvel was going to bring out all of these movies that we talked about
Yeah.
earlier. DC Comics laughed at them, said,
Yeah.
"You won't make any money. Your
Yeah.
movies are going to suck." And then next thing you know, Marvel Comics just jumped over leaps and bounds over DC Comics, and now DC Comics is like, "Oh, we're behind now."
Yeah.
But I wish they would make a Legion of Doom movie
You mean
for
Doctor Doom?
no, no, not Doctor Doom.
What's the Legion of
The
Doom?
Legion of Doom. You remember all the villains: Scarecrow, Batman's villain, the Joker,
These are DC
and
comics.
yeah, these
Yeah.
are DC comic villains: Cheetah, Giganta, of course, Lex Luthor,
The
Grodd,
Penguin.
the Penguin. Yeah, they were all battling against the Justice League, and
Oh, that sounds great.
during the cartoon times, they would all have these storylines and they would face off against each other. It was the greatest thing, one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Well, let me tell you, when I was growing up watching, like Burgess Meredith and Cesar Romero and Frank Gorshin and Julie Newmar as the villains on
Hmm.
Batman, they after maybe the first year or so, I started rooting for them because they were just so at such style and panache. I still kind of dress like a Batman villain sometimes once.
Yeah.
I dress like a colorblind Batman villain. Someone told me. So anyway,
Now, what are you the Batman villain of? I'm going to give you a Batman villain name
yes,
now. You are let's see, you're the professor.
the professor. Okay, I'll do that. The mad, the mad
The
professor.
mad professor.
He's already the Mad Hatter, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then I'll tell you what. The first year I rooted for Batman. Second year I started rooting for the Crooks, for the special guest villain. And then the third year was Batgirl, and I
Yeah.
didn't even care at that point.
Yeah. It was like, oh, out of the way, Batman,
It
goodbye.
was too much Batgirl. They only introduced Batgirl on the TV show because they didn't like the chummy relationship Batman and Robin had. Why does
Oh,
a millionaire adopt a teenage boy
yeah.
and spend all this time with him? Don't they
Oh
like
my
go out with
goodness.
girls or something?
Yeah.
I mean, really, this was a big deal. And so they thought by having Batgirl there,
Uh-huh.
but you change. It's like new Coke. Once you change the formula, no one wants
No one wants it.
it.
Exactly. Thanks for ruining it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is pretty interesting that
Mm,
these superhero movies are now all out
mm.
and everything. And I'm glad that they're out. And I hope they make more. But
They
not,
will make more.
yeah, they will. You're right.
That's all they make.
Yeah,
What
it's
do
the
you
only
mean? Are
thing
they?
they
They should make more. That's all they make.
Well, I can't wait until they make more
Well,
of
I
them.
tell you what, I mentioned Doctor Doom, who's
Yes,
like one
Doctor
of my
Doom.
from the
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, one of my favorite villains.
Yes.
And to show you how lousy the last Doctor Doom uh, 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 Fantastic Four film was, they didn't when they finally got Doctor Doom, he
Hmm.
didn't have those rings that shoot out the lasers,
Yeah.
which to me was the coolest thing. Somebody said, "How come you're not married?" I said, "Well, I'm not going to get married till they design a wedding ring
Oh.
shoots out lasers like Doctor Doom, so I could kill all my wife's ex-boyfriends."
Oh my goodness.
That's something Doctor Doom would do.
That's right. And that's the same reason why I love Thanos.
Yeah,
Because he's got the rings or the
yeah.
gems, and he can kill you with them.
They always have something.
Yeah. The power gem.
Something they found in the thrift store.
But it was really weird that they called these orbs gems in the video games,
Mm,
but in the movie they called them the stones.
yeah.
I couldn't understand that, but that's them. But who cares? That movie made over $2.5 billion.
I can't. I couldn't follow that movie at all.
Oh.
There's too many people to worry about.
You're right about that, but I think that was one of the interesting things for me is like everybody was in it,
Yeah,
and but here's the thing
like
that
an all-star game.
like, it was an all-star game. But here's the one thing that Marvel understood that sex sometimes sells, storylines got to be good, and you must know your villains, and that's all they did.
Yeah,
And it's like, trust me, when you have great villains and
yeah,
great actors and
yeah.
perfect butt shots to last
But
a lifetime, you're
one thing
doing
I thought
fine.
always weird about a lot of especially superhero movies,
Uh-huh.
was too many muscular men in them. I mean, who's
Yeah.
the real audience? Young boys? I don't like muscular men that much. Muscular women, I love it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah, yeah.
there's a joke.
Uh-huh.
There's a famous joke
Uh-huh.
about a test how to tell if you're a teenager, how to tell if you're gay.
Uh-huh.
And it's hilarious. What happens is it's a trick question,
Uh-huh.
and the question is, how many times have you seen the movie 300? And if you've seen it more than once, then you're probably gay. The first time you see it, just for the historical significance. After that, if you're just seeing it, you already know the story. You're just watching it because all those guys with the
Yes,
six pack
yes,
abs.
yes.
Yeah, I love
Oh
the
my
scene though. There's a
goodness.
famous scene in that movie where the King Xerxes, I think,
Uh-huh.
gets the message that they're advancing, and as
Yes.
soon as he gets the message, he just throws a spear right at the messenger. And it's, oh, that's where the term comes from. Kill the messenger.
Yeah.
It's just so don't kill the
Don't kill the
messenger.
messenger.
and
Well,
and we were talking about
uh-huh.
you had a news bulletin about basketball.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. Before we go, the NBA is having a problem with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And the Washington Wizards, my team, they've already canceled 4 games
Mm.
because players got COVID. But then again, it doesn't make a hill of beans because they can't win anyway.
They
So,
forfeited,
yeah.
so the other teams win.
Well, no, no, they postponed the
Oh,
game.
postpone.
The
That's
NBA
fine.
postponed the game, but why postpone it? Just simply forfeit and give it to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let them have a couple wins. The Wizards are right now, I believe, 2-7, and they got two good players, but they can't play with a lick of defense. And those two players, they're not meshing too well. So,
When Vinny Mac told me this before the show, we usually talk about stuff. I assumed that they were still in the bubble, but they should bring back the bubble. Yeah.
yeah, the
They should,
NHL is not doing the bubble either. So both NBA and NHL are not doing the bubbles. They're letting them travel, but for some reason the NBA is having problems. But the NBA is stupid. So
no, yeah. They well, it's all big bucks to
it
them.
is.
Yeah,
It's all big bucks.
yeah. So
Welcome to the little bucks.
let me tell you, no. Uh, Someday, what's the old saying? Some days you're king of the mountain, and then the next
Mhm.
day you're bottom of the heap.
Yes,
Nowhere
yes.
is that truer than in
In
sports
sports,
and pro
yes,
sports.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh, tough, tough
yeah,
life.
yeah,
I mean, tough life.
yeah.
But yeah, well, we have once again gone to another end of the good old Vinnie Mac show.
Yes,
And we will always remember our sponsors who give us this great, wonderful show.
yes,
Skunk Soap Remover. Gotta remove all them skunks out of your life. Yep.
yeah,
Skunk Soap Remover. Gamblers Anonymous.
yeah,
Very, very good stuff.
yeah.
And well, we lost one of our sponsors,
Oh,
unfortunately.
what was that?
I don't know. They ran out of business. They couldn't get the stimulus package going or anything like that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we lost. We
They're all
lost.
going under.
Yeah. So we have those two, but we are hopefully getting a brand new sponsor,
There you go.
and it will be Heartbreak Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Heartbreak Hotels all over the country. We'll see if we can get them as a sponsor. But
You know, at Heartbreak Hotel, they have balconies, and no, they don't call them balconies at Heartbreak Hotel. They call them lovers' leaps. So,
oh,
so kind of gets the idea.
yeah.
So it's up. We're gonna have to pump up the optimism when they start advertising for us.
But yes, we will be back for another Vinnie Mac show. And I noticed we got some questions, believe it or
I'll
not.
be I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll be back tomorrow on another show, probably a show that's better. But
No, this is a wonderful show.
what's a wonderful show? That's right, like it's a wonderful show. They should make a movie out of
You
that.
know why it's a wonderful show? Because you're on
Thank you so
it.
much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yes, CNNs are being underpaid, but other than that, matter of fact, CNNs they do need more money, and I'm hoping that during this time of COVID, everybody is being safe and being well guarded.
That's all that matters.
That's all that
Your health
matters.
is your wealth.
Yep. You know what?
If you make money now and get sick and die, You'd be richest man
That's right.
in the graveyard,
Yeah,
like Scrooge.
yeah, and you don't want
Uh,
to be that.
yeah. I'd rather be the poorest man in the world,
Yes.
which I am actually.
I always remember before we go about your good Willie Nelson joke.
What?
Um,
What?
that you want to be as rich as Willie Nelson.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is when he was having tax problems
Yeah,
because
yeah.
all my life I wanted to be as rich as Willie Nelson. Now I am. But you can say that about, I think, 10 years earlier about Red
Yeah.
Fox.
Yes, yes.
Before that, you can say it about Joe Lewis or
Yes,
anybody
or
else.
anybody else. Yes.
It's sad,
So we are leaving the Vinny Mac show because
yeah. Time's up.
not only time is up, but also, believe it or not, Congress has impeached us. So
They haven't removed
unfortunately,
us, they just impeached
they
us.
just only impeached us. So we have to go to Congress and we're going to have to explain to them that we didn't do anything wrong, especially on this show.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. You're right. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Bill Bixby. I wish Bill Bixby was in there. Yeah,
Incredible Hulk.
yeah.
How about and then Mitch?
Yeah, and
And
Mitch McConnell
they're all
and who's some
they're
others?
all the IQ of that whole group.
Yeah, the IQ of
In
that
single
whole group.
digits
Yeah. Yes,
combined.
yes, combined. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell, the IQ of that group is basically lower than this show.
You see Ted Cruz? He's starting to look like a cavalry general with that big
Yes,
beard.
yes, he should be a cavalry general. He should. I mean, he is
Should be on
ready
F
to,
Troop,
yeah.
like one of General Custer's assistants.
I mean, he's ready to go out into the frontier.
Remember
I
what
mean,
happened to General Custer?
oh yes, remember.
The
Yeah.
men will. Well, thanks for having
Thank
me
you
here.
so
Thank
much,
you on your
and
show.
thank you. And we will be back for another Vinnie Mac show. We will come back after the impeachment trials. And if you see us again on your wonderful TV screens on the internet, that means we have beaten Congress.
We have prevailed.
Yes.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night, everyone. Thank you for joining us so long.
Right on.
Impeachment.